Before I ask you about Witch Hunt, should I call you Gid Vicious, or what do you like to be called?
You can call me Gid Vicious. My godmother gave me that nickname.
Sure. Well, Gid Vicious, when did you finish filming Witch Hunt?
Oh my gosh. I think that was almost like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah.
Wow, 2.5 years ago. Obviously, that's been a little bit. It's kind of hard to compute for me, like the timeline of that versus Blockers. Like, how long after finishing Blockers was that?
Um, Blockers came out 4 years ago, right? So I'd say maybe like almost 2 years after Blockers.
So, did getting this role have anything to do with your work in Blockers, or was it more the craft?
Actually I booked the craft after Witch Hunt. It was so random. But no, I don't think so. The team reached out to my people about this role, and I met with Elle, and I honestly did the movie because I loved Elle, and I love female filmmakers, and I actually just worked with my first male director for like the first time on a feature, and yeah, but I love supporting women, and Elle was really cool, and I loved her vision and the story, so yeah.
Got it. So when you have a film that's very serious, there's not a lot of laughs in this film because it's very story driven per se. Is the vibe on the set always serious, or is it the second they say cut, there's a laugh or two and people relax a little bit?
There's always stuff going on behind the camera, but I would say every project I've done, I mean, you're always goofing off. I had a lot of fun with Abby Cohen. We were just total nerds together, like total nerds. Yeah, it was a really fun shoot. It was short but sweet.
Got it. When you finish a film like this, of course, that's not when the film is actually done as a whole. Did you get to see the film recently for the first time, or did you actually see it 2 years ago?
Um, when was this? It was in March or April, whenever South by was.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one of the producers, had a little viewing in his backyard, like our own little COVID premiere. And I'd seen it a long time ago. I think before it was like fully edited CGI and everything
Mm-hmm.
involved. And it's always weird to see the rough cuts,
Mm-hmm.
And then I brought my three best friends to go and watch it. And I was very happy. I was actually very surprised. Like, they did a phenomenal job with it.
It's sometimes funny though when I do these interviews and people say, "Did you like the movie?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I like the movie." They go, "Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing it." And you realize that sometimes you see the movie before the people in the movie itself did. So luckily you saw the movie before we
Yeah,
talked
I
about all
did.
this.
Did you like the movie?
Sure. And I saw it after you did because you saw it at South by.
Oh yeah. Cool.
There you go. But this is not your only project. When I look at IMDb, you have a couple of films in post-production. Do you know what's next? Is it Sick, or is it Who Am I that's coming out next?
So Sick, I believe will be coming out beginning of next year. That was really, really fun. That was an incredible project. And it's actually my first, starring lead role in something. So it was a lot of work, and I really gave it my everything. I really think, Kevin Williamson fans and, you slasher fans will really, really love the movie. It is awesome. And Who Am I was a project I did for my friends, actually. They just, it was like total COVID project. And it's actually a movement piece. It's not really dialogue. And I play humor, the emotion humor. So all of us have different, emotions that we're portraying in it. It's really cool. I've never done like a silent piece. So I'm not sure when that one comes out, but yeah.
So it sounds like you don't want to be in just one genre, because obviously a film like this has nothing to do with blockers, which has nothing to do with some of your TV work because you've been on procedurals. It sounds like you also want to do big budget and little budget, that you're doing art for art's sake. Sometimes it's a thing that millions of people see. Sometimes it's just with friends or for friends.
Yeah, I feel like, Witch Hunt and Who Am I? Those are like the two indies I've done. And I enjoyed both of them. Like, I really wanted to work with Elle. I wanted to, build that relationship. And, I wanted to help out my friends with Who Am I? And yeah, I really think if I connect with the project and I do it. I don't think when you're an actor, you should ever want to do something just because it's a big project. You should always want to do something because you really love it. You could see yourself,
Mm-hmm. Well, another interesting thing about you besides your work is that you studied photography before you went into acting full time. Is that still something that you're doing in your off time or interested in? Because I have to say the photography on your Instagram is excellent.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, my kind of passion for photos started when I was younger. I would go on these like photo safaris with my dad. And I got really into street photography when I was like 12. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply to college for photography. And I just kind of would take photos of my friends, but I'd make it all very rule of thirds. And it was never on a real camera. It was always just on my iPhone. Like if I liked something looked. And I think I find a lot of beauty in things that most people don't in the world. And I still do love taking photos, and I love, taking little video clips of things. I'll never not do it. I don't fully focus on it anymore, but yeah, every day I'm taking pictures of things.
The finding beauty in things that people don't generally associate as beautiful. Isn't that basically the premise of the show Better Things?
Yes. Yeah. And that, that's a hard one for me to watch because
yeah, I can imagine.
I wouldn't say that the girls that are portraying, me and my sisters were not like that, but a lot of the storylines surrounding the characters that my mom created are very close to home. And yeah, I mean, it is about finding the beauty in the odd things. So I think my mom's done a good job of that.
I can imagine it is hard to watch because even if there are similarities, that there's such big differences, and that the average person is going to go, oh, this is an autobiographical show. And like, no, it's not. I know it, but I don't want to spend all my time explaining that to people. But we are huge fans of that show in this house. I know that you had a role. That was one of the first TV things you did, if not the first. But the bottom line is we love what your family is doing. It's great to see that there's 3 generations of your family doing it in entertainment, and your sister's also doing great. So that leads me to wonder, when everybody's together for a meal, does the conversation center on entertainment, or is it everything except entertainment?
No, we never talk about work. I feel like sometimes even if we book something or we're doing a project, we find out later on, and we never talk about work. No.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you weren't encouraged to go into entertainment. That's just something you wanted to do and you kind of did on your own.
Yeah, me and Odessa. I mean, both of us were not encouraged. If anything, we were like kind of pushed away from it. My mom, knew I was always a theater nerd. I was always a Shakespeare junkie. I always did the little school plays, community theater. I'd sing at the street fairs growing up. It's always something that I've loved. I did not think I'd end up doing it professionally. I did not. So, that was it's pretty cool that I'm doing it now. I love it.
Yeah, you're doing it. That's the key. You're not just saying, hey, I want to be an actress. You're actually doing it, and you have great credits. So 2 questions, then you're free. And the first one is, who is your favorite musical artist, or some of your favorite musical artists? Because I can't tell from your Instagram.
Oh, why? Because I don't. What? Like, why can't you tell?
Well, you call yourself Gid Vicious, which is obviously a pun on Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols. But I don't know. Who are you into?
Oh gosh. Well, I am lucky enough to be raised by a family who has a very eclectic taste in music. I love everything, I think, except for some new music nowadays. But I love rock, I love pop, I love classical. My family hails from Europe, and I'm first generation on my father's side. So I grew up listening to a lot of classical music. My mom's very rock and roll. We love doo-wop, everything. Favorite musical artist. I was actually thinking about that in the car the other day because I was like, wow, this playlist is all over the place. I don't really have like, it would take me 20 minutes to figure out like top two, top three. It's really hard for me to do that. It's like choosing your favorite movie. I can't do that.
Oh, I can tell you my favorite band in a second, but that's not the point. We're talking about
What's
you
your
here.
favorite band?
At the moment, it's Kiss. And I know how bad Kiss is to most people's ears, but the history and the legacy, it's Jewish show business gold.
My uncle's a big Kiss fan. Big.
They're out there. And then my last question is, besides Witch Hunt, what's something that we should be watching film or television wise, if you could give us a recommendation?
Hacks. Hacks is fucking phenomenal. I love that show. Hannah is a Gene Smart. I mean, come on. I watched that show in a day. So good. Hacks. So good. You've probably seen it, right?
No, off my radar. Yeah, yet another thing you've seen before me, your film and Hacks.
What? Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Well, that's yet another thing that you've seen before I have, because you saw
my
first,
film.
you saw Hacks. You're seeing it all first.
Hacks, HBO Max.
Well, thank you.
Out in theaters tomorrow.
Now I know. Well, thank you for your time and looking forward to the future roles that you got coming. Keep up the great work there.
Have a good day.
Paltrocast.